All right, people. Oh, what is today? What day are we on? Does anybody know? I think today is day 24. Is today day 24, people? I don't know. I think it is. Day 24. Does that seem about right? I think that seems about right. Well, welcome. And if I got it wrong, oh, well, let's go. Let's go. Welcome. Welcome. Glad you're here. I'm pumped that you're here. Are you pumped to be here? You better be pumped to be here. Like, what the hell? If you're not excited, get excited, people. Come on. If you haven't noticed, the jet fuel to creativity is excitement. It's like fucking rocket fuel, okay? Now, there's other types of fuel too, but excitement is rocket fuel, okay? It takes everything up to a whole nother level. You feel me? Whole nother level. So that's what you want to be. If you can fucking get that excitement, if you can nurture that excitement, if you can harness that excitement, your creativity is going to go through the roof, okay? And that's what we're working on. This whole time, unbeknownst to you, we've been working on being excited, stoked, keeping the critical eye on the hole, you know, plugging, not allowing our excitement to be drained from us, you know, and then also having a schedule so we can count on being creative. The schedule allows us to become, work our creative muscle out so that it can become reliable. How many people have you talked to and you come across and they say, oh, you know, I do great, whatever, but only when the inspiration hits me. Well, you can't do nothing with that. Well, when does that happen? You know, how many times you been struck by lightning? You know, most of us ain't never been struck by lightning, right? And the ones that have, maybe once at most, okay? So, I mean, that ain't reliable. How are you going to produce something if it's a game of chance, or Russian roulette, or regular roulette, you know, for that matter? You know, what the hell is that all about? No. So it's got to be reliable, which means it has to be something that you partially control. Now, how do you control that? You control that by preparing yourself. You prepare yourself, okay? You get yourself in a state of preparation and you prepare yourself to receive the creativity. That's how it works. Where does the creativity come from? I don't know. It's out there, somewhere out there. The source, the maker, whatever. But the creativity comes from outside of us and it comes to us. All we can do is prepare ourselves and then trust. Okay? And then trust, right? The way that we prepare ourselves is, if you've ever had one of them lightning bolt moments, and Ryan Harkness and I were talking about it on our stream a while back, and I'm gonna have to get that guy back on because he's a sharp guy, sharp cookie. But anyway, you learn the feeling, okay? Now, it's very much like surfing. I don't know how many of you guys have surfed, but, you know, they tell you how to surf. They give you these the steps to surf and how to do this and how to do that. And it's a big process, and you can watch videos on it. But I tell you, none of that has anything to do with surfing. When you go out and you learn how to surf, you're terrible at it. You're terrible. And it's because you think you're trying to learn something or trying to do something that you're not really trying to do, okay? When you first go out to learn how to surf, you're trying to learn or trying to experience what that feeling is of when the wave picks you up and you begin to slide. It drops in your stomach a little bit like butterflies. And as soon as you have that feeling, stand up. That's how it is. Don't matter how you stand up, but as soon as you get that butterfly feeling, the back fins of your surfboard are locked in, buddy, and you're going. So just go ahead and stand up. You can stand up like a drunk man. You can stand up like, you know, a guitar player. You can stand up like a one-legged bandit. You can stand up like however you want to stand up. You're like a ballerina. It doesn't matter. Because when you got that feeling and your fins lock in, that surfboard is rock solid. You could do jumping jacks on it if you wanted to. So none of that, none of the instructions, none of the rules, none of that matters. The only thing that matters is the fact that you had that emotion and you felt it. You can count on it. That's what creativity is like. Okay? That's what creativity is like. That's what getting into that flow state or that zone that people talk about. That's what that is. Flow state, zone, whatever you want to call it, you know, feeling myself, whatever you want to call it. It's being connected to source, right? Whether you're Kobe Bryant out there playing basketball, getting in the zone, or Michael Jordan, or whoever, or you're a painter, you're a skateboarder, or you're a BMX biker and you're doing flips over a ramp or whatever. You're in the zone, you're connected. And that's what's important. And once you can get connected once, right, you got that feeling, you can do it in infinity times. You just look for that feeling, okay? And then you notice that certain things help the feeling and certain things hinder the feeling, right? So you prepare yourself, right? Excitement is one of the things that boost it. It's like it's fucking rocket fuel, okay? Letting the critical eye come out and fucking brag on you, and I know I'm dropping a lot of F-bombs. I'll try to clean it up a little bit. Letting the critical eye come out and rag on you a little bit, and knock you down and all that stuff, that's the opposite. That's going to destroy and break that portal of creativity. It's going to get rid of it, right? It's going to stop you. It disconnects you from source right then and there, okay? That's why it's so important to keep that guy in the hole, all right? Until you're able to master him with the use of your strengthened impulse control, the muscle of impulse control, then you can make him an ally, all right? That's the truth. And then the schedule, obviously, is you make this repetitive process that you come to trust and rely upon. That's what this whole ball of wax is, people. You didn't even know that's what we were doing, but that's what we were doing. I knew that's what we were doing because I set it up, because I'm a smart cookie, all right? I'm sharp as a tack. I might sound a little Southern or something like that, and I am. But Southerners can be sharp too. We can. We can be a little wily. You know, that's our favorite term, wily. We're wily people. But anyway, that's the whole process. That's the entirety of the process. You could take this process and apply it to anything. You can get in the zone. You can, you know, get excited, put the critical eye at bay, and go fucking cook yourself up a ton of eclairs. You know, a ton of custard donuts. You know, pasta, you know, or you can go and all of a sudden at 3 o'clock in the morning, you wake up and you like, oh my God, I got the idea on how to fix my Hemi out, my Barracuda out there in the garage. And you run out and your wife's like, what are you doing? You're like, woman, go back to bed. I'm out here making things happen. It struck, creativity showed up at my doorstep and knocked on my door, and I'm out there doing it. And so you run out there with your butt crack showing, and you sit down on your stool and you fix your Hemi. You spend the next 6 hours fixing your Hemi, your engine, for those of you who don't know what a Hemi is, right? Or maybe it's something where you're out to eating dinner with your boyfriend or something like that, and you know, something strikes you and you're like, holy shit, that's how I've been trying to design this dress this whole time for years, and now I just got it. It just hit me. The spark just hit me. We gotta go. Wrap up the boxes. We gotta go. And hopefully your boyfriend's a supportive guy, and he's like, all right, wrap it up, motherfuckers, we out. You know, this is the signal. Remember, you ever watch that We Were Soldiers movie? That's the signal to get on the Huey helicopter, right? Get on the helicopter, boys. We're going. We're out, right? Wrap it up. We're going. That's the way it is. So, what I wanted to talk about today is if you have writer's block, okay? What the hell do you do when you got writer's block? Well, you know, writer's block is really a disconnection from the source and a misunderstanding of the creative process, okay? Because that well never runs dry. The well of creativity never runs dry. It's a deep well that runs to an infinite water source, right? Out there to infinity, out there to the universe and all that shit and all that woo-woo stuff. And, you know, of course, I say the woo-woo with a little bit of a masculine overtone. That's why I throw in all the cuss words, all right? Make sure you know it's not too loopy, right? I've been around some loopy people in my day. Some loopy women, I tell you. They have all these ideas about this and that, and bro, they're some crazy people. But I've come to understand it. I understand what they were talking about, even though they made up all this other, astrology or whatever the hell it was around it, and collecting herbs and crystals and them some loop-de-doos. But the state of our emotions and connecting to source is real. It's 100% real. And I would even argue that all of the great ideas that came into humanity did not come to through a scientific process. They came through the flow state. They came through that state. And then the scientific process is a way to communicate with other people. It's not a way to create ideas. It's a way to communicate with other people. I'm telling you, okay? I'm trying to open the door for you to walk through so that you can get there. So that you can destroy anything that could be this idea of writer's block. Okay? We don't want writer's block. We don't like writer's block, all right? So what do you do when you have writer's block? All right? What do you do when you have writer's block? Let me go ahead and plug this in real quick. Got to get rid of any of them noises popping around that you just heard. I'm on a computer going out. So, hey, leave me alone. Them ravens are sending me text messages. You hear that? I heard that. I tell you, the other day, though, I made some nachos. And I had a whole bunch left over because my eyes were too big, for my stomach. And I didn't know if the ravens would like nachos. So I made some raven nachos. Okay, so you're like, Ray, what the hell is raven nachos? Well, it's the kind of nachos ravens would like, right? I've been watching them, and I put different things out there for them to eat, and some things they like, some things they don't even touch, and some things they go crazy over. All right, one of the things they go crazy over is popcorn. They love popcorn. Okay, they also love raw meat and all that, but that's obvious, right? So I had some of these extra chips and cheese, and I put it in the oven. I melted it for them. Then I put some of the scraps of bones from the ribs and all that kind of stuff. And, then I put some popcorn on top of it. And a lot of the times I save some of the tallow that from the hamburgers that I make, and I poured the beef tallow on top of the popcorn. I threw in a couple of peppers or whatever that were, I'm just throwing away. Why not? Just throw them out there. See if the ravens eat them. And I tell you what, I put that out there. And them ravens just had a fucking nacho party out there. And they were yelling at each other, jumping on top of each other, rotating around, knocking over the tray, just getting all crazy. And it was so fun to watch, and it made me so happy. And I was like, damn it, I gotta make that a cartoon. I gotta illustrate that. That's hilarious. And so, that's the stroke of creativity right there. I entered the flow state just right there because I was so excited to see how the ravens were reacting, and their joy and their excitement of their, happiness, started the creativity just going in me, just like, like a nuclear reaction that you didn't even want to happen. It just starts going off, and you're going to find that that's going to happen because creativity rides upon genuine desire. It rides upon joy. It rides upon excitement. And it can only exist when that critical eye is at bay. Okay? So, why did I tell you that whole fucking story, that parable? Why did I break that out on you? I'm trying to demonstrate to you that if you have writer's block, it's because you're letting that critical eye beat you up. Oh, it's not good enough. Oh, it didn't happen like that. Boy, you sound retarded. Don't write like that. Nobody's gonna like this. You're just a stupid person. Everybody has the same story. Your story is just the same as everybody else's. Okay. What you got to do is you got to get a hold of that critical eye and put them in the hole. That's step one. Okay. Step two is you got to do something that makes you excited, allows you to have fun. Maybe you take a walk. Maybe you play golf. Maybe you get your best gal and you guys go for a roll in the hay or something like that. But you do something like that, and I guarantee you, once you enter that excitement, that joy, whatever, that creativity is going to strike you like a lightning bolt, because it's going to be waiting. The source is sitting there waiting to electrify you, and you are the one holding them away. You are the one holding that creativity back by wallowing. That's right, you are fucking wallowing like a pig in mud in self-deprecation at the hands of that critical eye. Why? You got to answer that story. You got to answer that question. Why? Why are you wallowing? Why are you choosing to wallow instead of rising up out of the mud? Why? Now that's something you got to go ahead and, you know, dive deep within inside yourself and find that. And that's where your greatest story is going to come from. Right there. Your greatest story is going to come from that, because we all have these thorns inside of us, right? They're all different, but they're all basically the same thing. They all cause us pain. The pain is there so that we work to remove that pain, and by doing that, we become wise. That's the whole point of it, right? So you got to do that work. You know, what is that saying? There is no suffering unaccustomed to man, or something like that. And I'm saying it wrong. I know I'm saying it wrong, but or there is no sin that every man hasn't dealt with, or no suffering that it's in the Bible somewhere, that every man hasn't struggled with, right? There's nothing new under the sun. I know that's from Solomon. That's different. We got that. Nothing new under the sun. But whatever you're dealing with is common to all men. I say man because man is just general for women. Get over it, okay? I'm not going to say man and woman on every fucking thing. So if you're a woman out there, just, you know, go with the flow. Come on. I'm glad you're here, okay? Now, there is no suffering uncommon to men. What that means is everybody deals with the same things. Once you realize that, it gives you a freedom. Did you know, I'm going to tell you a little secret right here. Now, this is prime, okay? Did you know that everybody's naked under their clothes? Did you know that? They're not just clothed all the time. They're like you. When you go home and you get naked, they're naked too. Did you know that? If you didn't know that, I mean, that'll blow your mind. You're not special. Okay? Those little bits and pieces hanging down there is not special unto you. Everybody's got them. Okay? You got me? Now that should take some of the pressure off. All right? Take some of the pressure off. No big deal. Now go ahead and do your thing. All right? Go out there and do your thing. All right? That should relieve the writer's block right there. Relax. Understand that the human condition is the same as it is to all of us. We are the ones that build up in our mind that there are stars. And then we become the star fucker. Don't you be a star fucker. You know, forget about that. That's a waste. You become the star. Every person within themselves has the ability to become a star. How you become a star is you go through that portal, and then you experience creativity. You experience that insight. You experience that when you get, I don't know what's that word called, when you get inspired. You experience that inspiration. Okay, you do it. And that's when you get off the bench and you start living your own life. And you write about it. Write that story so it can help other people. Like, why do you think I'm here? Why am I doing these videos? Not to be famous, because I ain't famous. Not to make millions of dollars, because last time I checked in my bank account, the millions of dollars wasn't there. Okay? If you didn't send it, come on, send it. All right? I'm doing this to pay back a debt. I'm paying back a debt, people, because somebody did this for me. So I'm doing it for y'all. Okay? Your debt now, after you walk through this and you understand it, is to do it for somebody else. You don't pay me back. No, I'm already free. You do it for somebody else that ain't free. You pay it forward. That's the point of this thing, okay? And you'll do that with your story. So when you're writing your story, look at it like that. Like you're writing your story to help that other person, okay? Out of love, out of kindness, out of excitement. You know, do you remember when you were a kid? I don't know if you ever had this experience, but you were like, there was that one kid that you hung out with and you were excited to hang out with them. And you're like, okay, on Friday when I get home from school, me and Johnny, we're going to go and we're going to do this. And then you call him up or you run over to Johnny's house, knock on the door, and maybe Johnny did something. He got in trouble that day or something. And his mom comes to the door and she opens the door and she says, I'm sorry, Ray Ray. Wait, hold on. I'm sorry, little Ray Ray. You got to be little Ray Ray. Johnny can't come out and play today. He didn't do his chores, so he's grounded for the weekend. You know how sad you become at that point? You're like, oh man, the whole weekend? But this is the weekend that I got the M80s and we were supposed to go down to the creek and we were going to blow up crawdads. I got to wait a whole nother week for that? Oh, man. And so it's kind of like you get grounded too, right? Because you got to go home and like you had all these big plans. You were waiting a whole week. You were all excited. And your buddy Johnny, he's grounded. So now you got to fucking, I guess I'll go and, I don't know, play with the kid across the street. It ain't the same, but I guess I'll do it. I got to waste my time anyway. I ain't taking my M80s over there. No, he ain't getting it. That kid's a drag, but you know, it's better than being at home with my parents. You know, God, right? So what I'm trying to say is this, right? Help your buddy Johnny get out of fucking being grounded. Write your story so that he can go through that portal and you guys can have a good time together. That's what it's all about. When you start thinking about your story in those terms, it frees you from all those obligations and all those weights that are holding you down, that you're wallowing with in order to block the inspiration and the creativity. Okay? So go ahead, ease up on yourself, help your buddy Johnny out. The little Ray Ray's got to go blow some crawdads up with them M80s. Come on. And get out there and write that story, okay? This is a process. It's a muscle. You're training your muscle, okay? Why do you think I started with 30 minutes a day? Because sometimes that's all you can handle. Hell, maybe it's only 15 minutes a day. Maybe you can only handle 15 minutes a day. Then after 2 or 3 weeks, you're like, okay, I got this. Maybe get up to 30 minutes. After, 2 or 3 months, you're like, okay, I think I can do an hour. I'm really into this. This is exciting. And before you know it, you're doing an hour, you're doing 2 hours, you're losing track of time, you're putting a book together. Then you don't know it, but that book is all of a sudden going to get picked up by a publisher. And you never thought none of this was going to happen because your critical eye did nothing but tell you you were a piece of shit, and it lied to you. It lied to you. But now you know the truth. Now you know the truth. And now you're out there living an adventure that you didn't think was possible. Or maybe, hell, you did that, fixed up your Hemi and your Barracuda out there, and now you're winning races at the track, at the drag strip track, right? Got that old Barracuda. Got them going with the nice little spoiler on the back, baby. Come on. Little Joe Dirt kind of thing, all right? So seize it. Make this choice to rise up out of the mud, all right? Make the choice to write your story, okay? Make the choice to put your intention. The intention is the key, people. It's the only thing you have power over is your intention, all right? Now go ahead and go join the Discord. The link's down in the details and all that good stuff right there. And we're having that the competition, all right? If you want me to read it and give you my feedback on camera or something like that, shoot me a DM, all right? Or say something in the Discord to me or whatever, and I'll do that. The next video, if anybody gives me their story, I'll read 1 or 2 paragraphs and I'll talk you through it, okay? I'll tell you about it, all right? And I'll help you. I'll give you some notes if that's what you'd like. If you don't want to do it, and nobody says, hey, do it, I ain't gonna do it. No big deal, all right? Now, I had a great conversation with James last night, I think it was, or the other night. I think it was last night. Yeah, last night. And we talked about what the hell's going on in the world, from a masculine perspective. And we call it Bruvs Unite. And I think next week we're going to do it again. We might even have a couple other guests, okay? So I'm excited about that. I had a great talk with John Teeter on Monday. That was fantastic. Coming up, we got that live going on Saturday. I'm excited about that. Then we got the Sunday Fun Day. I might have something special for you on Sunday Fun Day. I'm working on it right now, so we'll see about that. Okay. So be excited, kick some ass, write that story, post it up, and let's fucking go. Come on.